What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Action Network podcast presented by DraftKings. I'm your host, Chris Raybon. This is our NFL Week 9 betting preview. We're going to talk sides. We're going to talk totals, props, moneyline underdog parlays, and as always, we'll build our Sunday six-pack of Against the Spread bets with the help of my co-host, the Prime Minister of Degenerate Nation, Stuckey. Stuck, got to hand it to you. Crushed it last week, carried the whole podcast. I went over. I think you lost. You didn't lose a bet on this whole pod. You've been on fire. Good stuff, brother. How you doing?
Good. Yeah, good week in NFL, bad week in college. Been cold in college, but that's the ebbs and flows of the game. So, no reason to look back at the good or bad. It's on to the next week. So let's get to it. By the way, this is one of the trickiest NFL slates I can remember. Um, just with all the key injuries, um, the quarterback uncertainty. Um, we'll get to it all, but they're definitely a tricky card.
Oh yeah. I mean, you kind of. I know you don't want to look back, but I thought it was kind of hilarious how woke up on Sunday morning and it was like that worst case scenario with you're getting the backup for the Ravens. You're getting you're
I
getting
did
Fields.
say it's
Yeah,
not dead
yeah.
if Lamar doesn't play, but yeah, no Tyrod, and then all the Jets injuries.
You
Uh,
were due for one of those.
yeah,
'Cause
uh,
oh
it's
man.
I haven't caught injury luck all year, but luckily it worked out this past weekend.
All right. Any thoughts real quick on the I know they're saying Lamar's gonna go. This time they kind of got caught up, kind of, I don't know what they were doing with the injury report, faking like Lamar was really practicing when they knew he was gonna be out. So now it's Thursday. The total's pretty high. It's at 50 and a half. Any thoughts on that before we jump into the six pack?
No, I mean, like I actually would lean over if everyone, like if Lamar was at full strength. And Nate Wiggins is had a huge pick last week, dealing with a bit of a groin. The Dolphins are so beat up. I don't know if I think Wiggins should be okay, but um, yeah, like the 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 Ravens aren't getting any pressure. They Their defensive line is still an issue, so Miami should be able to run the ball a bit, and Miami's defense is just can't do anything. Um, but my concern is like if the Ravens run it a lot, Miami's not really explosive. So like, but what throws the entire thing off, where I don't even want to look at this game, is Lamar's status. Like number one, there's a chance he doesn't go. I think he's gonna go. But number two, is he rusty? How mobile is he? How does that change the play calling? So all of that uncertainty, no thanks. I will say it's a huge game for the Ravens, their season, and just their potential to continue their ascent up the standings. They're now favored to win the division. But if they win this game, their schedule over the next month really sets up well with, especially with a lot of the quarterbacks they face. But they'll also if they win this game, they'll get a 4-day, DaCosta will get a 4-day head start on the trade deadline.
Yeah.
And there's, what I would like to see is go out and get one of the defensive linemen that's on the market. Like Dexter Lawrence would be a dream, but that's where they need to address because it's still a major issue. The rest of the defense is getting healthier. Their offense now has all the parts to run the offense they want to run. We'll see how healthy Lamar is, but if I would like to see the Ravens go get a defensive lineman. But at this price point, over a touchdown with the uncertainty surrounding Lamar, I think that this is fair and an easy stay away.
Yeah, I was looking at that total under, honestly, just because I was thinking, who knows what's going on with Lamar. It's also under in our luck rankings, so but it all depends on Lamar, as you said. But let's jump into the Sunday six pack for week number 9. You're up 31-17, so I just got to start playing for draft picks here. But no, we'll give it the we'll get some work done second half. I'm not gonna throw in the towel just yet. For my first pick of the week 9 Sunday six pack, first overall, I'm going with the Buffalo Bills +2 at home against the Kansas City Chiefs, the supposedly mighty Kansas City Chiefs. But I think Buffalo matches up fine in this spot. Now, we know Buffalo defensively, their weakness is going to be against the run. They're 30th at DVOA, but Kansas City looks like they just lost their best running back. Kansas City's not real, that doesn't really matter as much against Kansas City. Mahomes has been their best runner for most of the year. And I think this Kansas City team getting a little fat off some kind of shaky quarterbacks the last couple of games. They beat the Raiders 31-0, the Commanders with Mariota. Now they had that good win against Detroit, but Washington kind of pissed away a couple of chances to be up in that game and right there. So I think Kansas City, going on the road is, 3 straight home games, first of all, for Kansas City. Detroit, Vegas, and the Commanders. That's like that was a 89-24 victory margin. So that's gonna inflate their numbers a little bit. But if you look at Josh Allen and this Bills team at home as an underdog, 64% against the spread, hasn't lost since October 19th, 2020, straight up or against the spread as a home dog. Overall, Josh Allen, 65% career against the spread as a dog, covering by 5 points a game. And this is just a spot where I'm always going to back Buffalo in the regular season. Postseason, it's a different story, but Mahomes, postseason against the Bills, 4-0 against the spread. But regular season, 1-4, lost the last 4, failing to cover by just under 6 points per game. So give me the Bills as rare home dogs against the Chiefs.
So my concern here is number one, I mean, the Bills, like, they really haven't played any. I mean, they beat the Dolphins, Saints, Jets. They had that crazy comeback against the Ravens and then the Panthers. And their defense, like, you have Ed Oliver on
Yep.
IR now. Daquan Jones, is he a go? Bernard and Milano, I think they should be back. Um, Safeties, there's some injuries, but yeah, so I'm just concerned about like the middle of that defense and especially without Oliver, but I do think that they can get pressure. The Chiefs' offensive line isn't 100% healthy, and I think the Bills will be able to run the ball.
Yeah, Josh Allen always runs in this spot, about averaging over 10 carries in his career regular season against the Chiefs. I believe that's his highest against any team.
Yeah, he will be running a lot. He will be extending drives. I mean, I can't blame you for taking the points here. Like it feels like this game will be whoever has the ball last is going to win. So taking the points of the home dog. Chiefs on a short week. They have benefited from some beneficial scheduling spots lately, but their offense is definitely on the rise.
Oh yeah.
I will say though, you want to talk about a team that has benefited from fourth down luck. That and fumble luck too. So they've been a bit lucky. They have 9 fumbles on the year. They've recovered them all. On fourth downs, they're 14 of 17, 82%. Now you expect them to be good with Mahomes, but that's like Eagles territory
That's
with a
like
tush push.
Jaden Daniels rookie territory.
Yeah. And their opponents are 4 of 16. And
Yeah.
I say it all the time when you're betting football. Like a lot of times, what this comes down to is fumbles, fourth downs, and turnovers. Like 4 or 5 plays a game. And if you're on the right side of those, you're going to cover more times than not. So the Chiefs definitely have been a bit fortunate in fumbles and fourth down departments. So we'll see if a bit of regression hits the Bills. But then you could argue that the Bills' entire season this year should be one big turnover regression after last year. But yeah, taking the points with Allen at home. I haven't got there yet, but I can't blame your sentiment. For my first pick and the second overall of the Week 9 Sunday six pack, I'm going with the Pittsburgh Steelers plus 3.5. I think you owe me a hook. You can find a minus
Yeah.
120 out there. I would search for that. There was a minus 110 out there earlier today. I- So, look, the Colts are a juggernaut on offense, like historically good so far to date. But there comes a point, and maybe I'll have to keep upgrading them every single week until the end of the year. But there comes a point where the price is just too expensive. And I know the Steelers defense has major issues across the board. This defense is not good, and they lost to Sean Elliott. We'll see if they like shake up their secondary, if they take a different coverage approach this week.
I mean, it's been shaky. I don't
Yeah,
know how much more they can shake it.
it's been extremely shaky. So I'm look, the Colts I think are going to score here. The Colts offense is really good. I do still think there's a Jones like pumpkin game coming with like a couple picks, and this if there's ever a spot where you're going to get like some turnover luck, it's the Steelers at home after two losses. Also, I will say the Colts, as good as they've been, right? Like they haven't had the toughest schedule.
Played the Titans
Right?
twice.
They played the Titans twice, the Dolphins, the Raiders, the Cardinals, which was a shootout at home. And I think that the Steelers essentially can keep up. Now, number one, this price, I can't get this. I'm under a field goal. So, like, I project this around two. So, you're going to give me, even if it's a little expensive, 3.5, I'm taking it here because I think that the Steelers can keep up. How? Well, Colts are worst in the league at defending tight ends. Well, I should say second to worst. The Panthers are the worst. But from a yardage perspective, DVOA, I think they're second to worst in like every single category. They really struggle to defend tight ends. Well, Pitt uses multiple tight ends on over 50% of their snaps. The Colts also have injuries at corner on the outside that I think Rodgers will be able to take advantage of. They also have, I think the Steelers, especially at home, have a huge kicker advantage, so maybe that comes into play. And this is outdoors. The Colts indoor team that's been living indoors. I mean, all of their games have either been at home or in SoFi, except for a game at the Corpse of Tennessee when it was like 80 degrees against that defense. So maybe that slows them down a bit. I don't know. But I do think that the Steelers can keep up here. This Colts defense is very shaky. I think the Steelers structurally match up well. Then you throw those corner injuries in, and there's no reason why the Steelers can't methodically move the ball down the field, keep that Colts offense on the sideline, and maybe get some special teams edge and maybe some voodoo with the Steelers. And for what it's worth, Tomlin is a dog of 3+, 40, 21, and 3 against the spread, 65.6%. He's the most profitable coach of all time when catching three or more. 11, 2, and 3 against the spread at home. As a dog of 3+, that's 84.6%, covering by 8 points per game. And he's 10, 1, and 1 against the spread when that opponent at home has a winning percentage of 60% or more, covering by 10 points per game. So classic Tomlin spot here. And just going back to the price, like I know that we downgraded the Steelers after last week. I know that we upgraded the Colts again, but the Packers closed 2.5, 120 in Pittsburgh. And as good as the Colts have been, I certainly don't have the Colts power rated better than the Packers. In fact, I have the Packers a couple points better than the Colts. So I just think that this is, look, the favorites have been killing it. The Colts have been a covering machine. So I think as a result, we're getting a little bit of inflation here after everyone saw the Steelers, add on to that, the Steelers the past 2 weeks have not covered and burned better. So, I just think this line should be 2.5 or maybe like +3, -120, -125. I think this is a bit too cheap on the Steelers, so give me Pitt.
Yeah, I'll probably have to join you after betting them last week in that same spot. But I'm starting. It's one of these situations where it's like, is this just like, are the Steelers just supposed to be 1-6 right now? Because they had that win against the Browns. They lost to the Bengals, lost to the Packers after the bye, and then that Vikings win. I mean, they got outgained by 70 yards, 60 yards. The Patriots win, they gave them like five turnovers at the goal line instead of scoring, and the Jets handed them week one. So I'm starting to worry a little bit about the Steelers. I just don't understand how their defense is so bad. I do agree that like at some point, they're going to get one of these at home, as a dog, but man, it's just inexplicable how bad their defense is, because that's supposed to be their calling card under Tomlin. Rodgers in the offense is supposed to be kind of limping around. They have one true wide receiver that they really trust. They're playing like 5 tight ends, and it's like the defense is the problem. So Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the tight ends, I think the tight ends in this particular matchup
In
are
this
a good
spot,
thing,
yeah.
and they should be able to run the ball a bit. And the Steelers, the one good thing they've done on defense this year is defend play action. And the Colts are the most play action heavy team in the NFL.
Mm.
So, um, yeah, but this is not based on the Steelers defense matching
Can't
up
be.
against the Colts offense, which has been an absolute juggernaut. Taylor's been amazing. The offensive line's been amazing. Jones has done everything that you could have asked for and more. There's weapons all over. So, yeah, that's not based on that. I just think that the price is too high. You're getting the Colts outdoors basically for the first time against a real opponent, and I think that the Steelers offense matches up well. So, I think that they can match scores because I do think this Colts defense, especially without Ward, without Johnson, their struggles against the tight ends, I think the Steelers can have enough success to cover this number. Wouldn't be shocked if they pulled off the outright upset. Where are you going next?
Speaking of prices being too high, for my second pick, the third overall of the Week 9 Sunday 6 pack, I am going with the Minnesota Vikings plus 8.5 at the Detroit Lions. And this is a spot where I just think the price is too high. Now, on Monday, the Vikings had a little, light walkthrough or whatever. Christian Darrisaw, O'Neal, Van Ginkel, all spotted, McCarthy as well. So this team should be in a lot better shape than it was when they just got scraped on Thursday night by the Chargers, coming off, in an injury riddled roster on 3 days rest. That was going to happen. Now, Minnesota defensively, I think, underperforming a little bit. They came into that Charger game ranked 12th, and then and even against the Eagles, I just thought that was kind of uncharacteristic from them. So, but I do think Van Ginkel is going to be big here. Detroit, I think
Van
they're over.
Ginkel is huge. Like Dallas
Yeah,
Turner is not. They're trying to have him play that role, and it's not. He's not. He's nowhere close to as effective as Van Ginkel. Like it's a huge, huge drop off, and then having Cashman back helps the run defense as well.
yeah. I just don't think a Flores defense should be this bad uh, for extended time. And you could see them falling from 12th to 20th on a Thursday game on 4 days rest. I'm not going to downgrade them as much as I would, a similar spot in full week rest with more health and whatnot. So that's that. But more than that, I just think this Minnesota team, it's kind of, this might be a floor for them. A lot of people, I was lower on them coming into the year. I just wasn't a full believer in O'Connell having this Midas touch with every single quarterback. But at the same time, I mean, I think this might be the bottom of the market for them. You have, McCarthy coming back. He's only played in a couple of games. He didn't look great in one of them, but he brought him back, and then he had that terrible game against the Falcons, and he gets hurt. But you had Carson Wentz in there. And I actually like their other quarterback, Brosmer. So, like, if for some reason
I love Brosmer.
you're right, yeah, he might be the best quarterback on the roster. I've said this before, and I'm not joking 100% there. So, I don't mind this. You could probably wait on this number just because if there's shenanigans with McCarthy and Brosmer ends up starting, you're going to get an even better number. I would probably just bet it again, but yeah, I think health is a big thing. This is a divisional game. Yes, the Lions are coming off a bye, but the Vikings also on long rest, coming off that Thursday game. And you see this time and time again. These big underdogs have been covering this year, first of all. That's really the only spots underdogs have been covering. But also, underdogs coming off big losses, losses of 20 plus, 56% going back to 2018 against the spread. So I just think that this is a spot where Minnesota a lot healthier. Detroit, yes, they're good. We both came into the year, I think, a little bit down on Detroit compared to the market. I have upgraded them, but I don't think there's this invincible juggernaut, and especially not in a divisional game. And now that you get McCarthy back or Brosmer, you have a little bit more kind of the unknown with your quarterback situation. And McCarthy, I don't think he's as bad as people think now. He's had 2 starts and, played badly for 7 quarters. But this Viking team, you got Addison healthy. You got, Hockenson really hasn't played up to his standard yet. So he's still kind of waiting to break out. You got your red zone guy Naylor. Jefferson is underperforming. I think he's due to break out. So this could actually be a positive change because Carson Wentz ain't it. So I think there is some quarterback change upside here, even though people are probably down on McCarthy. And then you're probably getting at least one of your tackles healthier in this spot. O'Neal, Darisaw, and then Van Ginkel, Cashman. So I think you're healthy on both sides of the ball. Division game. You're talking about more than one score. I just think this is too many points. Vikings can lose this game and very well cover it. So give me Minnesota plus 8.5 at Detroit.
Yeah, my number says I should play this. I mean, look, the Lions have been better than I thought, but I mean, their last three wins have come against, Flacco and the Browns, Browning and the Bengals, and then
The Bucks with
really
nobody.
beat up Bucks team at home on Monday night. Now, the Lions have been very good under Campbell in these spots, just at home, off the bye, and they just, in general, the Lions just always seem to cover. But I just think that this line should be around 7.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
exactly.
but the tackles, Van Ginkel status, those are very critical. You also have the lines, like who's coming back in the line secondary is also important because their secondary is very beat up. And McCarthy's numbers are really bad, but it's a small sample size. Is he going to look a lot? There's a lot of uncertainty with McCarthy because if he's just horrendous, then this could get out of hand quick. So there's a lot of variance there, which is the only thing that gives me pause. But from a numbers perspective, I definitely would agree with you.
Before we move on, there's a quick and easy way for you to tail us. First, just sign up for Action Pro. You'll get instant notifications when any Action Network expert tracks a bet, whether that's myself, Stuckey, Brandon Anderson, our guy Sean Kerner. You want to get those right away. Plus, you can access our pro projections powered by Kerner and our predictive analytics team and a ton of other benefits as well. Just go to actionnetwork.com/pro and get $20 off the annual price with promo code POD20. That's POD20. Don't miss out on the best bets at the best prices. Visit actionnetwork.com/pro. Use promo code POD20 to get $20 off a year of Action Pro. The rest of our Sunday six pack is coming up, but first I'll throw it to myself for a quick word from our sponsor. The Action Network podcast has teamed up with DraftKings Sportsbook, where new customers can bet $5 and get $300 back in bonus bets if your bet wins, and 3 months of NBA League Pass. Stay in on the action and use your bonus bets on DraftKings same-game parlays for a shot at an even bigger payout. To get started, use promo code Action Network when signing up with DraftKings. Again, use code Action Network when signing up and bet $5 to get $300 back in bonus bets if your bet wins, plus 3 months of NBA League Pass. The crown is yours. All right, Stuck, where are you going for pick number 2?
All right, for my second pick and the fourth overall of the Week 9 Sunday six pack, I'm going with the Atlanta Falcons. It looks like plus 5.5 at DraftKings. This was 6.5 earlier today when I played it. There's still 6 out there, so I would try to shop around, see if you can get a 6. But I'm still okay here at 5.5. This is just the spot I had circled early in the week of the buy low, sell high. The Patriots, similar to the Colts, have been awesome. They've been on a run here. Similar to the Colts, also, the level of competition hasn't necessarily been great. And the Falcons are coming off one of the worst performances you will ever see for a home favorite. 7-point home favorite with Cousins in there who looked atrocious without Drake London, without 4 defensive starters, and they got destroyed. It was an utterly pathetic effort. When you see that happen, the next week, those teams are usually a bet on, just to put some numbers to give it context. Teams off a loss by more than 2 touchdowns as a touchdown plus favorite. So, like the Falcons were last week. The next week, they're 33, 16, and 1 against the spread, 67% covering by over a field goal per game. When they hit the road, 24, 9, and 1 against the spread, 72.7%. And as a road dog of over a field goal, 10, 3, and 1 against the spread. So, you should get the Falcons' best effort here. They also look like they're trending better injury wise. So looks like Penix and London are going to be a go. Morris said a lot of the defenders are considered day to day. Diablo on the IR hurts.
Yeah.
Bertrand is bad, but the Patriots can't really run the ball. They're not a great rushing offense, and that's where they really miss Diablo. But guys like Walker, Harrison, uh, a couple of Bowman, Bates, I think that all of them have a really good shot of going here. And when they have most of their pieces, they have been able to generate pressure. That's what you need to do against Drake May. And they have done an outstanding job of taking away explosive passes. And that's where Drake May has really excelled this year. I think the Falcons are number 2 in the NFL in that department. That is so important because Drake May's deep ball has been absolutely pristine. I still don't think this is a great Patriots defense. You can attack them through the air, so I like having Penix back in London. I also think you can really attack their linebackers and their safeties. That's where you could have Pitts, you could have Bijan out of the backfield having pretty big days. But I just think that we've gotten to the top of the market on the Patriots. They've been great, no doubt, but their last 3 wins over the Saints, the Titans, and the Browns. And look, May looked great last week, but the Browns' weakness is giving up explosive passes. They were playing Dylan Gabriel at quarterback, and that defense just isn't the same on the road. Now, the Falcons, some of their road performances do give me some pause. Some of the injury uncertainty does make this a little iffier, but I think we've reached the point where we've gotten too rich in the market because I am assuming that Penix and London will be back. Just last week against an incompetent offense led by Dylan Gabriel. I mean, this was 6.5, 7. So yeah, I think that the Falcons are getting too disrespected here after last week. So I'm going to roll with Atlanta in Foxborough. By the way, Atlanta, New England, 10 of 12 on fourth down, opponents 3 of 11. They've been a bit lucky in some other areas, so maybe some potential regression looms, but I just think ultimately numbers too high, and I do think the Falcons are going to be much healthier here, and you should get a max effort after their past 2 games.
Yeah, it's I lean that way. I would love to get to 6. The Patriots, speaking about luck, I mean, I believe they're almost fully healthy. Now they were just trading guys on the defense, so it feels like
Yeah, they have
Vrabel's
no
kind of
injuries.
locked in. Yeah, so it could be one of those spots where the Falcons are just you got to kind of you don't always know what's going on with them internally, so I would kind of wait till the end of the week just to make sure the guys are actually playing that we need to play. But if that is, if everyone's a go, London, I think being the biggest because he was ruled out late in the week. And I think that really kind of tripped him up because it's one thing to have a guy ruled out. And I'll talk about a team that I'm betting on actually that's going to have a top receiver ruled out, on Wednesday versus a guy being ruled out on Saturday. That changes the whole game plan. And London is such a huge target for them. So he's crucial. And they got to get Cousins out of there. I don't know what he must have just stiffen up even more sitting on the bench for a year. Like he was just terrible.
Yeah, they were at practice today, which is a good sign.
All right, for my third pick, the 5th overall of the Week 9 Sunday 6-pack, I'm going with the Washington Commanders plus 3.5 at home against the Seahawks. Now, this is a spot where everyone's down on the Commanders. I get it. Terry McLaurin ruled out, re-injured his quad, but it looks like Jaden Daniels is going to practice in full all week, which is big. The Commanders, they've had a tough schedule. Going up against the Chiefs in that last one. They got lost to the Packers. Their losses are pretty quality, and that's reflected if you look at DVOA. The Commanders are 11th overall, and that's even with a 3-5 record, 3 starts by Marcus Mariota. So still, have the makings of a quality team. I do think the defense will be better here. How much better? I don't know, but I do trust Dan Quinn to at least turn that around a little bit. I thought they played okay against Kansas City, all things considered, but just, some big missed opportunities there. But I think getting Daniels back is just key. I mean, 8 touchdowns, 1 interception on the year, 4 touchdowns, 4 picks for Mariota. It's just a whole different game. And Terry McLaurin, yes, that's a big injury, but the positive of that is You still got Debo Samuel, who you can feature if you need to in the pass game. And because Debo, McLaurin, all these guys have been banged up all year, all these other receivers have gotten a lot of time with the ones. And I thought McCaffrey's been playing well. Lane's been playing well. They trust Chris Moore for whatever reason. So you still got Zach Ertz at tight end. So I think you still have the running back. So I think you still have enough here. But the Seahawks, they've been great. I've upgraded them a lot. But 3.5, more than a field goal favorite on the road against a team that's still, I would say, above average in terms of quality, especially with Daniels back, seems a bit much for me. I think Seattle is, a very solid team all around, but they're still a Sam Darnold team with one guy they really throw to on offense, and that's about it. I mean, the running game's okay. They kind of mix and match there, but I think this is just too many points. Kind of similar to what you were saying with the Steelers here. If I'm getting more than the 3 for Sam Darnold as a road favorite against Washington with an upgrade at quarterback who's already a top 11, DVOA team. I don't think Seattle finishes the year number 2. That's where they are now. So I do think there's some regression coming. And this is kind of Washington season right here. They're getting desperate. This is a winnable or a gettable NFC East playoff picture, I think, if you're Washington, at least for a wild card, but you can't go to 3-6. I mean, that's just absurd. And Seattle 5-2, maybe you catch them a little bit sleepy coming out of the bye. So yeah, give me Washington plus 3.5. Expected Daniels to be back. That's the big one.
Yeah, I mean the Seahawks have been so good on the road under McDonald, but I do think this is a little rich. But how healthy is Daniels? Is going to be 100%. He needs his mobility. That defense is so bad, and they're so beat up. They're so slow. So like them defending play action really does give me pause because they're not getting any pressure now. They have no defensive linemen left. So that's a major concern because Darnold is playing at such a high level, and Seattle's defense, they can get pressure without blitzing. They should be healthier in the secondary. But again, the price probably a little bit too rich. So don't blame you. Not sure I'll be involved. For my third pick in the sixth overall, the final pick of the week 9 Sunday six pack, I'm going with the Houston Texans minus 1.5 at home against the Denver Broncos. Really tricky card. We'll go through the rest of the games. I'm going to play this. So this is the only other game that I liked on the card as of right now. I'm going to keep it simple. I have the better quarterback. I'll take Stroud over Nix. Stroud hasn't lived up to the expectations we saw in rookie year, but I'll still take him over Bo Nix. And if you look at any advanced metrics this year, he's ahead of Nix. And I'll take the better defense at home. So I got the better quarterback, the better defense at home. And the reason I can say, I mean, the Texans defense this year, especially against the pass, has been historically good. That defense is shutting everybody down. And the Broncos don't have Patrick Surtain. That is massive. He basically shuts down one side of the field, your top receiver, and allows Denver to be so much more aggressive, so much more diverse in everything that they do. The drop off from him to Abrams' drain is massive. And then there's just a trickle down effect to the rest of the secondary and everywhere throughout the defense. The Broncos, look, they're sitting at 5-2 on the year, but man, yeah, they beat Dallas. They beat Road Dallas. They should have gotten blown out at home to the Giants. They beat the Jets in London 13-11. They had a crazy comeback against the Eagles. They beat Jake Browning and then the Titans. Like that's their resume. And most of the wins have been very close. They have what, four one possession wins on the year. Also, Christian Kirk and Nico Collins back at practice today. That's a great sign. I thought Stroud really showed some signs last week. Now, the counter to this, which is going to be fair, is that the 49ers cannot generate pressure with their shell of a defense. And that's basically the difference between when Stroud looks good and when he doesn't. The Broncos can generate pressure, Is that a concern of mine? Absolutely. But also on the other side, I just don't see how Denver's going to consistently move the ball. You're going to see a lot of quarters coverage, which Nick really struggles against. And the emergence of Woody Marks and some of the young receivers getting confidence last week, I think is important. But Woody Marks out of the backfield, Denver bottom three in the league in defending running backs out of the backfield in the passing game. So I think that could be an avenue to extend some drives, get a couple explosives, because it's not going to take much. Total's 39.5 for a reason. This one should be ugly, but I'm going to trust the better quarterback at home and the better defense. I think the loss of Surtain is massive here. So give me the Texans at home.
Yeah, it with Nico back at practice, I think especially in Surtain out, that does kind of flip it a lot because it's still hard to trust the Texans offense, but it's also
Absolutely.
hard to trust Bo Nix against defenses that can take away
Arguably the
receivers.
best defense in the league.
Yeah, exactly. So, and that you could have made the argument for Denver, but not without Surtain. So yeah, I think the injury news is big there. That would put me on Houston as well. All right, that is our week 9 6-pack. Let's see, Stuck. You got Aaron Rodgers, Michael Penix or Kirk Cousins, and C.J. Stroud. So one of the better quarterback weeks. I got hopefully Jaden Daniels, JJ McCarthy, and Josh Allen. So yeah, oh man, we got too many good quarterbacks this week. This might go sideways. But that was our week 9 Sunday 6-pack. All right, I started off the 6-pack Stuck. So kick us off with your favorite total for week 9.
Let's go back to the well with a Titans over. Let's go Titans Chargers over 43.5. Chargers defense has some injuries. Does look like Derwin James is going to go. Not sure if he's 100%, but that would have been big if he was out. Tariq Still is going to be out, one of their starting corners. They've signed some guys recently in the secondary to try to help out. But I've liked what I've seen from the Titans offense of late. We've talked about this last week. They've simplified things. They're moving the ball a little easier. Their offensive line is healthier, although Dan Moore, I think, might be a little banged up. But I've liked what I've seen from the offense. It's still not great, but it's way better than it was earlier this season. And the defense is a mess. Jeffrey Simmons didn't practice today. And without Jeffrey Simmons, this defense, there's nothing that they can hang their hat on. And the Chargers, Beck didn't practice today. Joe Alt was back last game. Joe Alt apparently is the MVP of the league. When he plays, the Chargers offense is electric. And by the way, Gadsden is really coming on.
Gadsden's a monster. Yeah.
He is a player. So this Chargers offense, I don't see why they shouldn't be able to score pretty much at will.
Kamani Vidal by himself will probably put up 21 points, 3 touchdowns. He looked like with Danian Tomlinson against the Vikings. And now the Titans have given up 14 touchdowns to running backs in 8 games, 6 to Jonathan Taylor, and then 8 in their other 6 games. So they're still giving up like 1.25 touchdown per game to running backs. Once you take out Jonathan Taylor, 2-3 touchdown games, which is just absurd. Like they are just terrible. And now no Simmons, potentially again.
Yep.
So
yeah. It's messy. So I think that this just isn't properly, in my opinion, accounting for like the incremental improvements of the Tennessee offense, the state of their defense. Arden Key also didn't practice again today. Like their cornerbacks are a mess right now because of all the injuries and trades, and Snead on IR. They traded one of their other Brownlee to the Jets. Like their starting corners right now are Marcus Harris. Who else? Your boy Womack, I think, is starting.
Yeah.
And Amor Davis, like
just nobodies.
And they can't get pressure. So and then on the other side, Chargers maybe not 100% on defense, but and their offensive line trending up. So let's go over there. Where are you going?
For my total for week 9, I'm going Raiders, Jaguars under 45.5. Now, both of these teams are coming off a bye, and you think, okay, maybe, they kind of cook some things up offensively, but usually when you see these spots, unders when both of the teams are coming off a bye, 38, 25, and 160% since 03, 22, 5, and 1, 82% since 2021. So the year after COVID, when we got real home field again, I guess you could say, 22, 5, and 1 when in this spot for the under. And Mike Brian Thomas Jr., very disappointing season for him. Practicing with a harness. That's not good. I don't know what's going on. I'm hearing him trade rumors, but something's off with him. Jacksonville is somehow worse on third down this year, all of a sudden, than they were last year. Like this team is just Trevor Lawrence. I mean, and maybe it's the Thomas thing, but Trevor Lawrence is now back at 6.3 yards an attempt. So like all of a sudden, just when we were going to give Liam Cohen all this credit, and granted, Jacksonville did play, the Rams and Seahawks, and, some good defenses over the last few games, but their offense is trending down, and Thomas is clearly not healthy. And then the Raiders, their offense is probably trending up. I mean, Brock Bowers looks like he's going to be back, but Geno Smith has been horrible. Pete Carroll and Chip Kelly are playing this like it's 1984, or 1974, where they're just kicking long drives, kicking field goals, not taking enough risks, and who knows who they have available here. They Jacoby Myers could be traded or sit out with the injury. Put in Besh for Thornton, which takes away one of your deep threats. So you only really have one deep threat in Trey Tucker. And and that's probably because they don't want Geno throwing deep. Carroll said as much because they don't want him turning it over. So I think even if you get some better turnover luck for the Raiders here, probably be long drives. And then on the other side, this Liam Cohen offense with Ryan Thomas and Hunter and all these guys, Trevor Lawrence is averaging 6.3 yards an attempt. And, the running game is hit or miss as well. So both of these defenses are above average. The Raiders love to limit the big play on defense. Jaguars number 11 in defensive DVOA, and then the Raiders are 13th. And the Raiders, they're going to try to run the ball regardless of who's healthy and who's not. And that generally doesn't work against the Jags. Both of these teams pretty solid in explosives, and the Jags have shown some weeks in the pass game, but I don't think the Raiders can exploit that with the lineup they're trotting out there. So give me the under. Raiders Jags, a rare indoor under, but totals this year have been trending over. I think overs are 10 games over 500. But if you kind of filter out, once you get above 44.5, which is kind of the median over the last few years in terms of scoring, and that's when you start seeing the unders hit at a better rate. So give me under 45.5 Jags Raiders. Any thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I mean, I can see it. I would like for Crosby and Butler, Carroll said, aren't going to practice till Friday. They're bringing them on slowly. So obviously would like for Crosby to play. Devin Lloyd is back, which is good. Both of these run defenses are good. My only concern is the Raiders out of the bye. Like, is there going to be too much passing here because of the run defenses are good? But then the Jags offense works when they can run it, and the Raiders run defense has been good. These are kind of both of these defense encourage the pass, but I'm not sure either offense can really take advantage. So yeah,
I get a lot of zones too. Even though they're passing on them, there's a lot of zone coverage tends to lead to less explosives and touchdowns.
Yeah, longer, more methodical drives. So I could see it, but would really like if Crosby played.
Yeah,
just the Raiders defense without Crosby it's something, because he's like a Bosa, a Simmons. There's just a trickle down effect when he's not there, and obviously he can make plays on his own too, right? He's pretty much unblockable, but I don't know. I think we'll probably give it a go, but we'll see. That Carroll said today he's not practicing on Friday. They're bringing him along slowly, so I don't know. But I don't hate it.
Yeah, I mean the Raiders got 3 first downs in the last game. Just absurd. I feel like the answer to
Bowers also might not be at 100%, so we don't know that either.
Yeah, something's off with him. But I think just the fact that they took out Thornton for Besh, I know Besh, solid college player, but totally different kind of player. That just gives you essentially it's like Trey Tucker or nothing if you're going downfield now. Myers is underneath guy. Bowers is, I mean, he's a tight end. He's going to be over the middle, but who knows how healthy he is. And then I'm sure they want to get Genty the ball. So, yeah, I'm not expecting too many explosives either way for this Raider team. I think they're going to kind of slow play this. But all right, let's get to so our totals are the Raider Jag under and the Charger Titan over. Now it's time for our money line underdog parlay. Probably mushed you last week, Stuck, because I was like, oh man, this dude's hit everything. And then it was like, if he hits the Steelers, it would be like 7 out of 8. And of course, the Steelers just unravel in the fourth quarter. But I mean, Packers missed a couple field goals, so that shouldn't have even been that close. But
No, Packers are the right side.
right, yeah. Where are you going for your dog week 9?
Let's go with the New York Football Giants. And this is basically just number one, I don't know who's playing for either team on either defense. Hopefully the Giants get some guys back in the secondary. I haven't seen have you seen their injury report yet?
No, like I was just lamenting how when we record this, the only injury report I see usually before the show is Carolina, which is like the most irrelevant injury report most weeks. So let me see.
So Adebo didn't practice, Bellinger
okay.
didn't practice, Illuminor didn't practice, Flott didn't practice, concussion.
That's not good.
Art Green didn't
concussion
practice.
usually means a week out. So that's not good.
Holland was limited.
That is good. I thought he was going to be back last week. I didn't think he was going to miss that one. So
Rico Payton, cornerback Rico Payton was a full participant. That's I want that. Cool. It's bad because Adebo's knee, Flott's concussion, Art Green, who they were counting on, he has a hamstring. It looks like they all could miss. So like their corners now are Banks and Black. It's bad. So very, very bad. But the 49ers defense, I mean, we know how hurt they are. Then you had Collins get hurt last week, Winters, a couple other defensive linemen, Huff's hurt, Gross Matos. I don't know if they're going to go. A couple offensive line injuries. We don't know about Pearsall. We already know Bosa and Bosa's on IR. Fred Warner's on IR. Who's going to go at quarterback? I don't know. If it is Purdy, is he?
Pray it's Mac Jones. Pray it's Mac Jones.
Yeah, it's probably Mac Jones. I don't know. Both the 49ers can't get any pressure. The Giants defense is not going to stop it. I mean, if it's Banks, this game is just a mess. So give me
a pass rush though.
What's that?
At least the Giants have a pass rush.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But just give me Dart making some plays. He's been way better than I expected. He's not going to have to deal with any pressure. And, the 49ers defense, not only are they hurt, they were on the field this is their second straight road. They're on the field for the entire game last week. The Texans had the ball for 35 minutes in the first half. So, yeah, I have no idea on this game. I think there's a ton of variance, so I'll take the home dog.
Yeah, I was thinking about the Giants. Would have loved to get to 3. I think the line is still 2.5, so I think it makes sense to take the money line in this spot. But yeah, like the Giants, I think they've been unlucky all year, despite
they even got unlucky against the Eagles. Like I think the Eagles. Like I liked the Eagles last week. I didn't end up playing them because Brown was out. But
yeah, that should have been bigger than it was.
But like the Giants, that tush push, they should have been a fumble recovery. The offensive pass interference that went for a touchdown was BS. So that game should have been closer. I'll have more on this game later, by the way.
Yeah, I mean the Giants, they've been a lot more competitive than you would think with Dart and I mean a bunch just not much, not much. Yeah, so it's I'd rather go with the quarterback who can run around a little bit because I don't know if Purdy comes back what his what turf toe is a tough injury, so I don't think he'll be back. I think they're just kind of it's a PR thing where they paid him so much money that they don't want to just rule him out like at the beginning of the week every week, so they just play that dance. They do that dance, but we'll see. Either way, Niners, not the same kind of team without those guys on defense. But I'm gonna.
Jalen Hyatt was also out of practice today for wisdom teeth. I mean, these
he's not. He's a healthy scratch. They're enamored with Will Jordan Humphrey, and now they might activate Ray McLeod. But I think
I saw that. No, I'm just laughing at this injury report. Like
Yeah, I
It's
think they're
so
just bullshitting.
long.
It's gonna be healthy. Like Friday comes, they're gonna like take like everyone off. Like Dable's just fucking around now at this point. I feel like.
Who else did I see had teeth? There was someone with teeth. There was a
I mean, everyone has
back.
teeth. Most players
No,
have
a teeth on the injury report. A
teeth.
teeth. It was a backup quarterback. Um,
Oh, wasn't that last year? Wasn't
no, it
that
was like
last
I think
year?
it was 2 weeks ago.
Bridgewater? Was it Bridgewater?
Bridgewater. Yeah, it was Bridgewater.
Yeah, bro.
He was on there
Bridgewater.
with a teeth. It just said teeth. Um, so all right.
I'm
Where you
going
going?
I'm going back to the well here with these Pittsburgh Steelers plus 145. Home dog against the Colts. Just a high variance team, first of all, because I think with Aaron Rodgers in this offense, again, they're playing a little better than expected. And even though they are kind of a tight end centric offense, they still find a way to be a bit more explosive than you think with Metcalf, Austin, and Jalen Warren in the pass game. And then defensively, and I know that they did lose a safety, but I still think they're playing way below their talent level. They're at home. This is a spot where uh historically, I mean, one of the more profitable spots in all of betting, really. Mike Tomlin, Steelers, home underdog, money line, 19 and 13, 59% straight up. So they're winning outright as a dog nearly 60% of the time at home. Off a loss as a dog, they're winning outright 55% of the time under Tomlin. And just, as a dog after the first month of the season. So after you kind of get some data and tape on guys, Tomlin, Steelers 54% straight up. So I mean, this is a spot where the Steelers tend to show up, but the fact that Tomlin's calling card is defense, and the defense is just shitting the bed week in, week out, does worry me a little bit about these trends. But I do think, to your point, Colts outdoors could be the top of the market for them. Steelers can keep up on offense, all things considered. So yeah, give me Pittsburgh here.
Yeah, I'm hoping the Steelers. I'm so curious to see what the Steelers do. You don't like in the secondary. Do they put Ramsey back? Where's my guy Beanie Bishop? Like, bring him up.
Yeah, what
Put
happened to
him at
him?
nickel. Put Ramsey back at safety. You don't want uh, Thornhill back there. Really don't want Thornhill. But like, I think that maybe I've always thought that um, Peppers is good. Like, especially playing in the box, supporting the run. It's weird that he doesn't get run.
It's got to be a
Um,
locker room thing, because wasn't he
yeah,
wasn't he that could be the whole issue with the secondary in general, because I mean, you look at the personalities, you got Ramsey, you got Slay, like you got
Slay also looks washed. Like they've been replacing him with Eccles lately. Like,
yeah, but I'm sure that's
um,
not going over well.
no. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm hoping that they make some changes that catch the Colts. So this adds to the variance that can catch the Colts off guard. Maybe they go a little more too high. I mean, last week they played. I mean, all year they rarely play any cover two.
Yeah, too much man coverage, and yeah, too much single high.
So that and Jones has been worse against that type of defense this year. Um, so maybe they make some changes that the Colts aren't expecting, because the Colts are so well schooled. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm so curious to
What
see what they do and if
what
they
happened with Thornhill though? Like, is he just old now? Like, because he was never this bad. I mean, he was never bad, really. He was always, I would say, a plus safety, and then maybe league average. But he's just been terrible this year, like
yeah,
absolutely atrocious.
he hit
Like,
he hit 30,
yep.
and sometimes it's a cliff.
Yeah, that's rough, because yeah, they lost Elliott, but still, I mean, you got Watt, you got Hayward, you got Highsmith, you got Ramsey who can move around. Like Porter should be better than he is too. Like this
Yeah, Porter's
defense,
not having a great year.
you got speed at linebacker. I mean, I just don't. It's like it's like strong and wrong. They decided they were going to get these these personnel and play man coverage, and it just hasn't worked. And the communication's been terrible, and they just really haven't changed anything. So yeah, I'm waiting for that to come, but I could see that coming against Jones and catching him a little off guard. But the Colts are every receiver they throw to now, because Taylor's involved in the pass game. Tyler Warren's their tight end instead of like Mallory, Cox, and Ogletree. And then you got Downs healthy, Pittman healthy, and who am I forgetting? Oh, and Alec Pierce. Yeah, so it could get scary, but Yeah, hopefully the Steelers switch some stuff up and play up to their talent. All right, if you parlay Steelers and Giants, you get plus 464 at DraftKings. Giants plus 130, Steelers plus 145. Now it's time for our Anytime Touchdown Parlay presented by DraftKings. Stuck, where are you going for your touchdown for week 9?
Let's go Jackson Dart. I think he's scored four and a touchdown in 4 of his 5 starts. Maybe he's the new Hurts, but I think you can get plus 165 on this at DraftKings. Like I said, 49ers can't get any pressure. Defense is really banged up. Defense might be exhausted. There's no Scatabo now near the goal line. I expect Dart to be running all around, multiple ways for him to score. Kind of like, I think this will be a little higher scoring too. So I think there's going to be some opportunities for Dart to get in. So yeah, let's go with Jackson Dart.
Yep, 4 out of 5. The only game he did not score was against the Saints. Go figure. And that was a game where he just threw a ball on the floor at one point for a fumble lost, threw for a couple touchdowns. But yeah, I like it. I think they have to rely on his legs, and they're going a little heavier in the red zone now. So they're going with all those tight ends, which I think just makes it more likely that Dart ends up scoring because, you drop back and you have like Chris Manhertz running routes, like he's not going to be open. So then you're more likely to scramble. So good news for Dart. And then Tracy, they don't always trust at the goal line. I'm going to go with Tucker Kraft plus 122. He scored in 5 of 7, just been a monster this year. And going against the Panthers, who have just not been good at all covering tight ends.
Horrendous.
And that makes sense when you consider that they are one of those teams that just kind of sits in zone. Zone coverages tend to favor the tight ends, the backs, the lower A-dot guys, man coverage. That's when you kind of funnel the ball outside to the wide receivers down the field. So great spot for Kraft. And he could score either way. Like he could score against man, he could score from distance, or he could score in the end zone. But I will say this, the Packers are starting to play their backup tight end, their number 3 tight end, Fitzpatrick, more than Musgrave. So he's sitting around, I think I saw 20-1 out there. So he might be worth a long shot, or he is worth a long shot as well, because he was up to about a 30% route rate last game, and that's been kind of a trend for him now. So wouldn't be surprised if the game gets out of hand if you see John Fitzpatrick with the big P get in the end zone as well. So but for our official parlay, we're going Kraft and Dart plus 488. That's our
Kraft is a monster, man. He's rising up the best tight end in the NFL leaderboard.
Yeah. The only thing that's stopping him is the Jacoby Brissett version of Trey McBride, who actually scores touchdowns, because the Kyler Murray version does not. So yeah. Kraft is, but yeah, plus 488 on DraftKings. Jackson Dart, Tucker Kraft, anytime touchdowns, week 9. That is gonna do it for us. Any other games we didn't hit?
Yeah, let's see. Bears Bengals would have been a beautiful over. Like, the Bears defense is a disaster. They have corner injuries. They've been relying on turnover luck. They can't stop anybody. The Bengals, of course, can't stop anyone. The Bears running game is getting going. The Bengals can't stop that. Hendrickson didn't practice today. But the wrench here is Flacco might not go, and it might be Browning. So I don't know on that one.
Flacco with a career high, like 14 yards. I don't know if that's actually his career high, but 14 yards rushing and a touchdown, and now he's injured.
Yeah, he had a scramble for a first. So I had the Jets. I said, I was
yards,
losing my mind. It was 3rd and long, and they let Flacco run for 4. I was like, you got to be kidding me.
And a 12-yarder against the Steelers, too. He's probably out rushing Chase Brown. But yeah.
So that was going to be a beautiful over. But with Browning, I don't know. I'd still would look over or nothing.
Do you back the Bears now at 3 on the road?
No.
You trust Caleb? No, right? Yeah.
But like, they should be able to run all over them. There's no pressure. Like, the Bengals, I don't know. The Bears should be able to move it.
Mananjai, the running back, he's trending up. Maybe he's another look for a touchdown or yardage ladder, because I think they're probably just going to run
Rutgers guy.
Yep. And I think Burden probably misses with a concussion. I think Komet is week to week, And I saw Zacchaeus pop up on the injury report too. So this could be a very run heavy game, which could kill the over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that I was gonna bet that was gonna be my total, but not now. Saints Rams. Rams what 14-point favorites here. It seems like a lot. Like the Saints were just +4, plus close 3.5 at home against the Bucks.
They're trying to trade
But then again,
everybody.
they were catching this around at the Bills, but they Chuck. So like a lot of variance. Nakua's gonna be back. That's big against this defensive scheme. What are you gonna get from Shuck? I don't know.
And what are you going
So
to get from the skill guys? Because Kamara only played half the snaps. They're clearly kind of like limiting him. They're Shahid's in trade rumors. Olave has been. Cooks is in trade rumors. Like,
yeah,
so it's like you don't know what you're getting out of this offense. Taysom Hill, they haven't really. I don't know if he's ever going to be the same. They haven't really unleashed him like I thought they would. I thought they could have really used him more last week. They didn't. So yeah, I just it seems like a tank job at this point now.
yeah. So no thanks on that. Packers Panthers. Packers 13.5-point favorites at DraftKings. I mean, the Panthers have a bunch of offensive line injuries last week, which are not good. Moton didn't practice today. Christensen has been really good as the
Yeah, he's
backup
out.
guard. He got hurt. Brown, it looked like was at practice. He's important for the defense. One of their linebackers, I forget who didn't practice today though. But is it going to be Dalton or Bryce Young? I don't know. Bryce
Bryce
Young
Young.
was
Bryce
out
Young
there.
practicing full. Practicing full. Dalton looks like he's out or he's hurt now. So
Okay.
yeah, it like
So
flip flopped. That's good news.
I think
I
that's an
think.
upgrade.
Yeah. At this point,
So maybe this is a little rich. If it gets to 14, I think you'd have to look at the Panthers.
first half, the Packers just always it's like three scores in the fourth quarter every single game.
Yeah. But no interest as of right now. I think
All
that's
right,
it.
that's gonna do it for our week 9 Action Network podcast. Be sure to check out Stuck on the favorites, and you can find me on Fantasy Flex with Kerner. Stuck's also on BBOC, talking college ball. Check out @Playbook on Twitter. We have a bot that will build you bet slips at the book of your choice. You can just screenshot bets. So that's pretty cool. Stuck is on X @Stuckey2. I'm at Chris Raybon. Or at those same handles on the free award-winning Action Network app. Go download it. Until next time, let's get this money.
Let go.